Hi dear students, in the video introduction to orthographic projection we have seen about HP, VP, first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. You have learned how and why projection of things fall in different positions with respect to XY line, and we also learned that in India we prepare drawings in first quadrant. We also know the light rays are parallel and the light rays are perpendicular to the respective planes when we draw. In this video called the projection of points, we are going to learn how to mark plan and elevation of points situated in various quadrants. ഏത് ക്വാഡ്രൻറ്റിലും ഉള്ള പോയിൻസിൻ്റെ പ്ലാനും എലിവേഷനും വരയ്ക്കാനാണ് നമ്മൾ പഠിക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, quadrant system. I am isolating first quadrant. This first quadrant is isolated here. Agreed? Anything can be, a point can be in any of the four quadrants. You know, this area is called above HP, below HP, in front of VP and behind VP. So if you isolate first quadrant and consider a point A, capital A is some distance above HP and some distance in front of VP. Now let us draw the plan and elevation of this particular point A. How do you do that? Look from this side, a ray of light coming from your eye, make an impression on VP, I call it A dash. Then I look from the top, A. If capital A is a point, its elevation is represented by A dash and its plan is represented by A. It's a universal practice. ലോകത്തെല്ലായിടത്തും അങ്ങനെയായിരിക്കും ചെയ്യുക. M ഒരു പോയിന്റ് ആണെങ്കിൽ its elevation is M dash and its plan is small m. If Z is a point, Z dash is its elevation, Z is small z is its plan. So you have projected the plan and elevation of point A. Now, this is what you have done. First quadrant isolated, a point A here, you have projected the elevation and projected the plan. Then what do? You rotate HP through 90 degrees clockwise. You are standing there, that's your reference position. This is the position from which you have drawn the elevation. This is the position from which you have drawn the plan. The light rays are parallel, that means you are looking from infinitely large distance. You have drawn them, then you have gone back to your reference position. That's your reference position. You have gone back to your reference position. You cannot see what you have drawn. Open HP through 90 degrees clockwise. Even now you cannot see what you have drawn. Rotate it. Now you can see XY line. Elevation is drawn here, plan is drawn here. So elevation will be above XY, plan will be below XY. That is what is drawn. A dash A. If I connect A dash and A by a line, such a line doesn't exist. When you draw, when you look and when you open up, such a line doesn't exist. But if you connect them by a line, that line is called the projector. Projector or projector. It's the lightest line in a drawing, probably. Lightest line in a drawing. Even though such a line do not exist in the actual view, in the drawing you have to make them to help us to identify points in plan and elevation. Agree? So that will be perpendicular to XY also. Those projectors will never be inclined to XY line, that always will be perpendicular to XY line, and the plan and elevation of any point lie on that. If plan is there, its elevation is on the vertical projector. If elevation is here, its plan is on the vertical projector somewhere. It cannot get out of the projector. Okay, now let us find out how far away is A dash. What is this distance? You know, A is capitalized in first quadrant, so elevation is above XY. How much above? By this distance. What is this distance? It's the distance of capital A from HP. Similarly, this is the plan. How much below is the plan? It is, when you open up now, comes here. How much below is A? By this distance. What is that distance? That is equal to this distance. What is this distance? That distance is equal to this distance. What is the distance? It is the distance of A from VP. A വി പി എന്ന് എത്ര ദൂരത്തിലാണോ അതായിരിക്കും ഈ ദൂരം. എ എച്ച് പി എന്ന് എത്ര ഉയരത്തിലാണോ അതായിരിക്കും ഈ ദൂരം. യു ക്യാൻ സേ the distance of a point from HP will be visible in the elevation measurable from XY line, and the distance of a point from VP will be visible in the plan measurable from XY line. അതായത് ഒരു പോയിന്റിന്റെ എച്ച് പി എന്നുള്ള ദൂരം എലിവേഷനിൽ എക്സ് വൈ എന്ന് കിട്ടും, ഒരു പോയിന്റിന്റെ വി പി എന്നുള്ള ദൂരം പ്ലാനിൽ എക്സ് വൈ എന്ന് കിട്ടും. ഇവിടെ പോയിന്റ് ഈസ് ഇൻ ഫസ്റ്റ് ക്വാഡ്രന്റ്, അപ്പോൾ പ്ലാൻ താഴെയും എലിവേഷൻ മുകളിലാണ്. ഏത് ക്വാഡ്രന്റിലായാലും ഈ പറഞ്ഞ സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് കറക്റ്റ് ആയിരിക്കും. ഏത് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ്? എച്ച് പി എന്നുള്ള ദൂരം എലിവേഷനിലും വി പി എന്നുള്ള ദൂരം പ്ലാനിലും കിട്ടുന്നുള്ള സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് ഏത് ക്വാഡ്രന്റിൽ പോയിന്റ് കിടന്നാലും കറക്റ്റ് ആയിരിക്കും. മനസ്സിലായി എന്ന് വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. ഇങ്ങനെ ഈ പോയിന്റിനെ ഏത് ക്വാഡ്രന്റിൽ വേണമെങ്കിലും വെച്ചിട്ട് പ്രോബ്ലംസ് വരയ്ക്കേണ്ടി വരും നമുക്ക്. ഓക്കെ, നമുക്ക് അങ്ങനെയുള്ള കുറച്ച് പോയിന്റ്സിന്റെ പ്ലാനും എലിവേഷനും വരയ്ക്കണമെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ നോക്കാം. ഞാൻ I am going to write the question along with this. A 30 mm above HP, B on HP 25 mm in front of VP, C on VP 40 mm Let's first of all take these 3 points. To draw them, I am drawing a long XY line. X1. A is 30 mm above HP and 20 mm in front of BP. Which quadrant A is? Above HP in front of BP, first quadrant. I draw a projector. 30 mm above I locate A dash, and 20 mm below I locate A. Projector is drawn first, very light line on which 30 mm above A dash, 20 mm below A. Then I draw a horizontal line here, connect them by a vertical line, put arrowheads on either ends of both lines, and right here 30 and right here 20. Now, I have not mentioned earlier about the various kinds of lines. I thought I will mention them as and when we use them. There are different types of lines in drawing. One is light firm line. Example of light firm line is the projector. Light firm line. The other is reasonably dark firm line. Reasonably dark. When you draw things, we use reasonably dark lines. We can say dark lines. Then dotted lines. Dotted lines means intermittent lines. Dotted lines. This is light firm line. This is dark firm line. This is intermittent line, which you call as dotted line, and then one more line is there, chain line. Dotted line is, light firm line is used to represent a projector, or in certain cases some invisible lines, invisible edges in solids, etc. Firm line is used to represent visible edges or visible things. Dotted line also is used to represent invisible things. Invisible means certain things which are obstructed by something else. Then chain line is used to represent center lines or axis of objects, etc. Agree? Then another thing which you need to bother is, I drew the extension line. They are drawn parallel to the XY line, and then I have connected them by a line. This line is called a dimensioning line. This is the projector. This is called a dimensioning line. and I have put arrowheads on both ends or both lines, and then readable from the right side I have printed 30 and 20. Printing is just like writing, like printing letters. It's called printing. I have printed 30 and 20. This dimensioning has to be written from the right side at the center of the line. You should never draw across. You should never draw on the right side. You should never draw, and I don't say right side. When you're looking from here, you have to write above. If you're looking from here, you can write there. No problem. But don't draw or write across the line. You can leave the gap in between the lines and also write there. There's nothing wrong in that. You can leave a gap at on the dimensioning line, and in the gap you can print properly. It is very compulsory that the arrowhead should reach the limits. This is the limit, so arrowhead should reach there. Don't stop it somewhere here. It should reach there. Then, how to draw arrowheads? That is another issue. If you draw a line and put an arrow, it should look like this. The maximum length of the arrow, this is called the length of the arrow, must be 4 mm. Maximum length must be 4 mm, and the maximum width, this much, total width, must be 2 mm. Or the length by width must be 2, between 2 and 3, no problem. If the length is 4.5, the width can be 1.5, no problem. It must be between 2 and 3. Length by width must be 2 and 3. I am telling you certain tips to make your drawing perfectly well. What happens in graphics now? If it's mathematics, 5 into 6 is 30. Whether you write it very clearly, very cleanly, like printing letters, or by bad handwriting, you will get full mark, provided the examiner read it. But in graphics, subjects like graphics, if you draw them correctly, but with the shabby, your drawing is shabby, not good, then there will be a tendency for the examiner to reduce your mark. We are all human beings, all teachers are human beings. So drawing correctly doesn't make it eligible for very good marks. You will get mark, but may not get very good mark. You have to present it in such a way that when the examiner see your answer book or drawing sheet, he should be happy. You must be able to impress the teacher. Agreed? To impress the teacher, there are certain tips. These are the tips. The arrowhead should be perfect. The dimensioning must be done in the correct manner. The projector must be very light. The printing must be very good. Okay, these are tips. I will not repeat these tips everywhere. You are supposed to take care of that. Agreed? In various institutes, teachers prefer a different method of presentation. But by virtue of my experience, I am telling you, presenting the answer sheet in the best possible way in a drawing is the first criteria to get an excellent mark. Okay? So, first point I have marked. This dimensioning line can be 5 mm to 10 mm away from the projector. It must be minimum 5 mm away, and it must be within 10 mm away if space permits. If space permits. That is the best way of presentation. Okay, that is point A. Then point B, on HP, 25 mm in front of VP. When a point is on HP, where will be its elevation? Elevation will be on XY line because the distance from HP is 0. The distance from HP is seen in the elevation. The distance from HP is 0 when the point is lying on HP. So, B dash on XY, and then 25 mm below, you will get what? B. Then you can mark the dimension. 25. Then you have got point C on VP. When a point is on VP, its plan will be on XY line. Because in the plan you see the distance from VP. The distance from VP is 0. So the plan is on XY line. Where is the elevation? 40 mm above this. C dash. I hope you understand. Now I take another set of points. We are drawn up to point C. Now I take point D, 35 mm above HP and 35 mm behind VP. Then point E, 35 mm above HP and 15 mm behind VP. Then point F, on HP, (40 mm behind me). These are another set of 3 points. D is 35 mm above HP and 35 mm behind VP. Which quadrant? Second quadrant. When a point is in second quadrant, both plan and elevation have to be above XY, and it is same distance. So draw a projector 35 mm above. Locate what? D, comma D dash, and mark 35. Agreed? Then E, 35 mm above, and 15 mm below. Then F, on HP, that means elevation is on XY line, F dash, 40 mm behind F. Agreed? Now what? Now we will take another set of points. G. Point G, 40 mm below HP and 25 mm behind VP. Then point H, on VP, 30 mm below HP. Point G is 40 mm below HP and 25 mm behind VP. Which quadrant? Below HP, behind VP, third quadrant. Draw the projector. 40 mm below, locate G dash. 25 mm behind, locate G. Then what? Point H, on VP means plan is on XY line. H, 30 mm below. H dash. Then what? Now we take 3 more points. Point I will change to green color. Point I, 40 mm below HP, 40 mm in front of VP. Then point J, 40 mm below HP and 20 mm behind VP. Then K, on HP as well as on HP and VP. We are going to draw these 3 more points. I is 40 mm below HP, 40 mm in front of VP. Fourth quadrant, both plan and elevation below XY. So draw a projector. J, I dash. Then J, 40 mm below. That means J dash is 40 mm below. J dash. Then 20 mm below is J. I dash, I move a little bit. I dash. $40, $20. Then a point K is on HP as well as VP. What does it mean? It is on the joint between the two planes on HP as well as VP. So its plan and elevation will be both on XY. I have marked a set of points. How many points? 3 plus 3, 6, 8, 11. I have marked 11 points. These 11 points cover all possibilities. If you are able to draw these 11 points, you can locate any point in any quadrant. Agree? So you have to understand this, look into it, think of it, understand it, and draw. Take any question and draw, or you can draw the same question if you want. Draw and mark dimensions, and please take care of your arrowheads, and please take care of your dimensioning lines and the projectors. So this completes a video on projection of points. When you connect 2 points, you get a line. The next video will be on projection of lines. Thank you.